Let's go. 1, 3, 5, 7, dip, 1.
Welcome one and all to South by Southwest 2024. I'm Tatiana Hollander with Screen Rant, and I'm here with the energetic and lively cast of Backspot. Can I get a round of applause, please? Yes, written or story by and directed by DW Waterson. It's about competitive cheerleaders who join a high-tier team and have to deal with pressures that affect their wonderful relationship that I adore. So thank you so much. Starting with you, DW, I really would love to know. I know that it's not based on your life, but it takes pieces, like your family's love of sports, for example. Can you talk about what seems like very long process from the initial idea to now really getting to show off this beautiful film?
Yeah, totally. We've been working on this film for 6 years, Devery and I, as producers. It's definitely been a labor of love. And for me, bringing kind of like the personal stories of growing up in a sports household where everybody was either lovely or awful to each other, depending on which sports team was winning, which I thought was insane. But I was like, what an interesting way into a sports film to have that commentary, because we're always seeing sports films and it's about what's happening on the field or on the ice and that pressure, which obviously is in the film as well. But it's like, how does it affect all the other relationships surrounding that sport was really important for me to kind of dissect, as well as highlighting how badass cheerleaders are, which I feel like is, we're used to seeing cheerleaders, pom-poms, and we see them a lot through the male gaze as like kind of silly and pretty. And for me, I'm like, no, like you don't want to run into a cheerleader in an alley, man. Like they'll kick your ass or put you in the air or something.
Absolutely. Devery, as a producer, I know you've already had experience writing, directing, you really put your all into projects. Can you talk about what it means to you to be a producer, how you approach it from that angle?
Yeah, I mean, I think I started producing on Backspot in 2017, which is, I guess, going on 6 years ago now, even before writing and directing on the series that I'm a part of, Reservation Dogs. But this was I used to be a competitive gymnast. I used to be a former provincial champion.
Provincial champion. Like, that's like,
oh, wow.
that's real shit right there.
No, thanks. And so it was like combining our love for like underestimated sports and female athletics and queer stories and wanting to make sure that we're able to like showcase our communities that we come from and the generational gap between these generations of queer folks, and also where we can find those bridges, and the relationship between Riley and Amanda, who Kudakwashe plays so beautifully. We really wanted to make sure that it was a positive and healthy queer relationship where the conflict isn't derived from the queerness.
Absolutely, and I love that Kudakwashe, from the opening moments of them together, we see this just pure joy, right? You're rooting for this relationship, you love both characters individually, and it's about protecting that fragile flame throughout. Can you talk about how you and Devery work together to build that chemistry and that dynamic?
Yeah, I talk about this a bit because I really love how DW handled it. They're a fantastic director. But we would, before we started filming, Dev, I, and DW, we would meet and then we'd kind of discuss their relationship, like what are their favorite movies, how long have they been dating, and getting that history that really helps feed and inform performances. And also it was great for me and Devery because we got to be in a space where we weren't filming, but we could kind of vibe each other out and get comfortable with each other and discuss our ideas and thoughts. And then I think that really contributed to the relationship we had. And then it also helped that we went to the gym and Devery saw me fall all the time. So I was I throw embarrassment to the wind.
That's what I was gonna ask. Did you also have a background in gymnastics and cheerleading?
Yeah, I did cheer for 8 years.
Oh, wonderful.
So it was stepping back into it, but with not nearly so much finesse because I had been out of it for a while.
Both of us, it was a very humbling experience, especially working off of all of the cheerleaders who are actually training and competing now. Trying to keep up with them was no small feat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Y'all pulled it off, though. Y'all pulled it off.
Thank you. Definitely. Thomas, from the first line, Devin's first line, I was cracking up. Because of specific delivery. I loved everything that you said and did. Yes, please take the mic, take the spotlight. I guess, were you inspired by anyone specific? Because I was that's a person that I know.
Great. To be honest, it was more just delving into Joanne Saracen's writing. I feel like you just delve into the writing and it kind of tells you where to go. So I didn't really need to draw from anyone specifically in my life or in culture. I kind of just read it on the page and I feel like I could see who this person was immediately and kind of get a sense of what the rhythm was. And particularly when Devin introduces Riley and Amanda to the team, it was kind of just on the page. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I think I was just gonna add, like, I know with our all essentially like queer team behind the camera, but as producers with me and DW, like I thought Thomas's performance was really nuanced and incredible. Had it been like a non-queer director behind the lens, they probably would have cast somebody who was a drag
straight.
queen or was straight, but like it would have been maybe more of like a caricature, and we just really wanted to make sure that we could find somebody who was able to play Devin's depth and humanity and that connection, and it was only ever Thomas.
It's also helpful that we all met each other in the Film Institute 6 years ago, and we very quickly created like a family between the three of us. So I knew like the role was kind of written for Thomas, whether he knew it or not.
Inspired by yourself.
Yeah, inspired by himself. That was the true answer. But yeah, that was our favorite scene, the two of them kind of at the end when that tender moment.
That was so beautiful.
That was our favorite scene on the script, and then on the day, just being able to work with them and already having like that intimacy between the three of us really, created like a really special moment.
Yeah.
And now Kuda's in the family too.
Yes, a wonderful family. I love it. The warm vibes. DW, you've obviously been building towards this for some time, but you have experience in shorts and music videos. What was the biggest leap for you when you're really in the production of Backspot? What was like the most surprising challenge?
When people are throwing bodies in the air, you're really like, we're insured, right? Like the paperwork's in. I don't know. I felt pretty comfortable, to be honest. I did 3 seasons of a digital web series that I created and produced called That's My DJ, and we kind of did that with no money and shot it like super guerrilla style, and and that's like dealing with it's party scenes. So you're dealing with a lot of extras and a lot of like crazy things. We shot at actual parties and then would kind of plug in things later. So for me, I think we started shooting Backspot in a club scene because I was like, I'm most comfortable with like the most chaotic situation. So I felt great and ready and just excited to, kick off my debut feature film.
Yeah, and you did an amazing job. Thank you for
Thank
that.
you.
Kudakwashe and Devery, both your characters are like immediately kind of enamored with Evan Rachel Wood. Eileen, of course, who would not be? What was it like working with her and also kind of mapping out this very different kind of relationships that you each have with her as the movie progresses?
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I think, first of all, working with her was amazing because, she's so talented. Everyone's aware of her body of work, and working with her, it was no different. She was such a force that it was not easy to it was not hard, to be I saw Evan kind of as Amanda, and maybe Riley saw Eileen. I was so cool. And she is fantastic, that's the other thing. And it was really great working with someone like Evan. She's so talented.
Oh yeah, we were completely geeking out, and in what world with our debut feature film would we ever get Evan Rachel Wood? What a heavy hitter and what a force, and we were so fortunate to be able to collaborate with her. But when she was on set, I think every time we would yell cut, the really intimidating illusion of Eileen would kind of melt away, and she would be laughing and joking with us, and she's super chill, but also iconic.
Absolutely. Then on the other hand, Thomas has a different relationship with Eileen. He's kind of more on the level and is able to introduce these characters to what they might expect from her, and then maybe how they might treat her as less than a god. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, well, I feel like Devin kind of sits in between where Eileen is, which is an extreme win at all costs kind of mentality, and then Riley, which is this new kind of ambitious athlete who wants to do whatever they can to succeed. And I feel like Devin has kind of tasted both ends of that spectrum. So he offers something maybe needed for Riley, as we discover maybe throughout the story, but also maybe something for Eileen. And I've kind of thought about why Devin is Eileen's assistant coach, and maybe that's why, because Devin also maybe tempers a little bit Eileen's extremism, and she kind of needs that and kind of knows it, so she keeps him around, maybe unconsciously.
Did your research.
Yeah.
Did your homework on that.
Right.
DW, you mentioned how Backspot doesn't shy away from like the difficulty of competitive cheerleading, like the pain that goes into the beauty at the end. When you're actually filming that, like how do you plan out like what are the stunts that we can do? How can we film this safely? You know, and what's going to look best, show off cheerleading best on camera?
Yeah, I mean, we worked with Cheer Fusion from Brampton, shout out, the cheer squad for 5 years.
Wow.
Myself and my writer, we would go to practices and we would just kind of like sit and observe because we really wanted to tell an accurate story, and we saw a lot of silliness, just like teenagers being teenagers. We saw a lot of eating junk food and getting those calories so they could burn them all off immediately, and we saw a lot of pressure and stress on the body and stress on the mind. And for me, when it comes to telling stories about young people, it's like it's tough. It's tough to be a young person. And when that pressure's on you and you're putting it on yourself and the pressure of the sport, I was like, that's such a cooker that I'm like, this is, where I want to focus the story.
I love that. I also love, Devery and Kudakwashe, that you break out into, oh my God, you guys, from Legally Blonde, the musical, when we finally get the well-deserved Legally Blonde, the musical, the movie, the musical. Will we see you there?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
I would be first in line to audition. I mean, I don't have the talent at all to be able to do anything like that.
disagree.
But
I think we could.
Fan.
They have made me such a fan, so I will be like in line. I'll play a tree if I can.
Now, did you introduce it into the story, or how did it become part of the project?
I think, DW, you just kind of wanted a moment of levity to show like that these people can really escape with each other.
They're dorks. Musical theater,
naturally.
dorks.
and like that they find, Amanda and Riley find such a safe haven in each other from all of the stress that Riley experiences and her anxiety, and then all of the pressures that Amanda has, like having to be responsible in her family household, and so they get to just kind of like be kids and love together, and also be like stupid and dorky and sing Legally Blonde the musical.
Do each of the rest of you have a go-to song when you're feeling stressed? What's your, relaxation, breakout, song and dance song?
That's a good question.
I mean, Legally Blonde the musical has definitely been mine. It's so iconic.
Has a chokehold.
It does have a chokehold on me. It kind of gets right in there and it doesn't let go. But also, we've been watching Has Been Hotel, and it's like every single song is like crack. Like it's not leaving your brain, and it's so good. So I feel like that's kind of what I've been chopping on recently.
Love that vibe. Kudakwashe?
Honestly, Epic the Musical. It's like this new, it was my top song and top albums.
Oh my God.
I couldn't post my Wrapped. I was like,
I mean, you're calling yourself out now, so.
Good point.
Thomas.
He's better than all of us, so.
I don't. When I have Fire Away by Chris Stapleton on like repeat right now. I don't know what is going on.
Surprise.
Yeah, I have it on repeat, so I'll say that.
I love it.
When
In
yeah,
Texas,
in
exactly.
Texas,
And then
yeah.
finally, Devery, I have to say, I love Reservation Dogs. You in it, the work you did on it.
Thank
So
you.
sad that it left me. But you obviously are doing great. You have
No,
Echo.
thank you.
You have Backspot now. How do you feel like your work on that project has elevated your career or opened doors for you?
I mean, obviously it's like been such an incredible blessing to be able to be a part of that show. It's opened so many doors. Sterling Harjo, who's the showrunner, has like welcomed me into the writer's room and has helped me get so much more experience behind the camera than I had previously, which was mostly short films and stuff. And I think having a better understanding of story, we were able to really work with our incredible writer, Joanne Sarazin, and make sure that we were being true to the story and bringing it to life. But yeah, like it's been incredible, and also to be able to like film in our city in Toronto with people that like I love is just such a treat to get to do on Backspot.
And it was a treat for me to get to watch. So thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your South by, and everyone, let's clap again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They're down 3 more girls. It's a massacre.
Okay, well, don't look so excited about that.